welcome to my astrology report. My name is Terry, and today I am going to read Donald J. Trump's astrology chart and see if the stars are aligning for him to win or lose the presidential election in 2024. And I will just take a look into my crystal ball. I'm just kidding. I have looked to astrology my whole life to get answers about what is going on in our world, or to just try to figure out what will happen next and will this person get elected or not. And it always tells a story as it is going to happen. So you've just got to learn how to read astrology, and you will see that the stars, it's all written in the stars. The stars will tell you. So will Trump win the 2024 election? That is the question I hope to answer today. And let's just see what the stars say for Trump in 2024. And stay tuned until the end when I am going to reveal my own intuitive hit about what Spirit is telling me about who will win. But I don't want to bring that into the astrology, and that's not really astrology, that's just my intuition. So I really want to focus for now on what the astrology chart is saying, and I am just going to read Trump's astrology chart for 2024 without any judgment, just as I would if he were to hire me to read his astrology chart for 2024 predictions. I'm only looking here at what the astrology says because the stars don't lie. So you are absolutely invited to watch and learn, and whether you are rooting for Trump to win and you love him, or you're hoping he doesn't win and you don't like Trump, either way, I just want to invite everyone in to listen and look at the chart and learn. This is an opportunity to learn about astrology transits and what they mean. And I'm going to read Trump's chart and 9-star key astrology just for fun. And in the last election, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that Trump would win. It was so clear based on his astrology. I know a lot of astrologers say that. I didn't have a channel then. I just read it for myself. But in the 9-star key astrology, which I also study, it's an Eastern kind of astrology, Trump was going through a fast-growing tree year, and that always indicates a win because 3 wood stars, let's face it, we win. I'm a 3 wood star myself. It's just a winning energy. It's the young spring tree that really grows forth and blooms and goes for it. And I just knew when I saw that 3 wood star that Trump would win in 2016. And Hillary was in a 2 earth star year as an earth mountain star herself. That was a lot of heavy, slow moving earth energy. So both the Eastern and the Western astrology in 2016 showed that Trump was undeniably going to become our president. And this time around, it's not so crystal clear to me because Trump has some incredible Jupiter alignments that could definitely bring a win. Jupiter rules over positions of power and having faith. And Trump has this luckiest Jupiter Sun Cazimi. I'm going to unpack that later. And that's truly a winning transit right there. That whenever I see a Jupiter Sun Cazimi in my own astrology chart, that's a moment I'm going to go out and buy a lottery ticket because it is so auspicious, it's so fortunate, it's so lucky. And there it is, Jupiter Sun Cazimi. With a twist, though, I learned that there is a twist, and I'll talk about that later. So that means he could, against all odds, take this presidency in 2024 with some other powerful Jupiter alignments. But then he also has, later in 2024, Saturn square Uranus. Dun, dun, dun. And that is an incredibly challenging aspect, bringing some roadblocks and obstacles to his victory, not to mention some huge karmic soul lessons. Saturn is the teacher, and he always gives you these karmic soul lessons and losses. So I can't tell between those two. I see Jupiter coming in like Santa Claus on his sleigh, and he is bringing Trump the gift of a presidential victory. So hopeful for Trump, this Jupiter Santa who rules over hope and is bringing Trump everything he wants. But then I also see the Saturn square Uranus coming in like the Grinch who stole Christmas, and the Grinch is going to take everything away from Trump. And there's some severe losses, and maybe the Grinch is even going to lock Trump up after all these lawsuits. And so it's Santa Claus versus the Grinch here in Trump's chart. That's what I'm seeing. It will be the best of times, and it will be the worst of times for Donald Trump in 2024. Making this election feel like a scale as we move into that 2024 Libra scales of justice eclipse year ahead. And I see it as the lightest feather could tip the scale in Donald Trump's favor or going against him with losses. And where will this feather land? That is the question. Will Donald Trump win, or will he suffer big financial losses or trouble from these lawsuits? And it feels like it could all come down to just a few votes coming down like this feather. Just a few votes in his favor or against his favor, whether he wins or loses this presidential election. It's going to be really close. But let's look closer to his whole chart for 2024 with all the transits to see if he will win or lose. And like I said, stay tuned until the end when I reveal my own intuitive insight about it. Trump was born during a total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, really close to that galactic center, that Sagittarius 26-27 degrees. And Trump had this lunar eclipse, this full moon total lunar eclipse in his 4th house of home and mother. And he is therefore a powerful change maker. Whether you love him or hate him, he is a change maker. He has made changes in our world, clearly. And being in an eclipse on that Gemini Sagittarius axis that goes, for Trump, it's on the 10th house and the 4th house. So it's all about his sun in the 10th house, which is career and father and coming into a position of power. And his 4th house, where that moon total lunar eclipse occurred, is all about his family and his mother and his home. And so this particular total lunar eclipse that occurred at Donald Trump's birth was called a lunar Saros 129, and it occurs about every 9 years. And the next one will be happening March 2025, which is really close to the time when the winner of this election will take the presidency. And people who have the moon close in conjunction with the galactic center, as Donald Trump does, means he is really just this force of nature. The galactic center is just this center of so much energy, and they say that our Earth is getting closer and closer to that galactic center. It's pulling us in like a magnet. But when I see people with either moon or sun close to the galactic center, these are manifestors. These are people who can connect with source to manifest what they desire. And he was born with that moon near the galactic center. He's the kind of person who is just always in the right place at the right time. He may have overinflated his wealth for sure, but he is successful. Just looking at his chart, I see him knowing what he wants and then getting it more often than not. So you can see why he has inspired so many people. And he does have these incredible powers of persuasion and abundance. In sidereal astrology, which is a little different than Western astrology, in sidereal astrology, he is a Leo rising, with his Leo so close to that star of Regulus, which is the star of kings. And so he is somebody who is just born to lead and be in power. That's just who he came in with astrologically. And Trump works this kind of manifesting alchemy with his words, because of course Trump is a Gemini, and Geminis are natural wordsmiths. And Trump has this stellium in Gemini with the sun, North Node, and Uranus. And Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury, that gives him those Jedi mind skills. I always say when people are ruled by Mercury or they have a strong Mercury, like they have Jedi mind skills. They can just create the reality they want by believing they deserve to have it. And he manifests his desires by proclaiming that he already has what he wants. I have seen Trump do this so many times. And whether you love him or not, you can see that he does know how to manifest. He tells these little fibs, but then they come true. So he proclaims that he already has what he wants, and that what he wants to have happen is happening, if only in his own imagination. That Geminis have incredible imagination because of that Mercury mind power. He imagines it in his own imagination, even if he's telling white lies. When he says it's going to be huge and I'm going to win and I'm so successful, he's really using the law of attraction in the best way possible when he says he's going to win, or he proclaims it's going to be a huge event, and he is just proclaiming what he wants in that powerful I am affirmation. And it just works wonders for him. It really does. So I wonder if he has studied or read the law of attraction, or if that just sort of comes natural to him because of that moon conjunct the galactic center. This is a kind of a fake it until you make it manifestation that Trump uses, and it actually works for him. And he was born with this total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius in the 4th house of home and mother. And when someone is born with that 4th house moon and the 10th house sun, that means their parents, their mother, 4th house, father, 10th house, have a huge impact on who they are. And a lot of their motivation comes from like trying to impress their parents or living up to their parents' hopes and dreams. So I think he really has a strong connection with both his father, sun in Gemini, 10th house, and his mother, moon in Sagittarius, 4th house. And I just had to look at Trump's mother. I didn't know anything about it. She has a whole Wikipedia page if you ever want to go down the rabbit hole. It's really interesting how we don't hear about Mary Ann Trump very often, but she is a powerful force in her own right, setting sail to America at age 17, seeking a better life. And she's just a fierce survivor, and she was rising up from an immigrant servant's position to aspire great wealth, mostly through marrying Donald Trump's father. But she also worked in real estate with him, helping him to manage all the properties. And she just lived that true American dream of rags to riches story. And we all know Trump's father is that incredible real estate tycoon. And if you've ever heard the Woody Guthrie song about Donald Trump's dad, I highly recommend it. Maybe I'll leave it down in the comments if I'll look it up, because he was a real estate mogul, but not always the most honest person. And that Woody Guthrie song is really worth a listen. But Trump has his North Node Gemini and in the 10th house of Father, and his South Node of the Moon in Sagittarius with his mother. So his life purpose, North Node and South Node, is all about your life purpose. His work, his family, and his home are all tied so deeply to his parental roots, his father and mother. And so much to unpack here. That North Node 10th house brings a rise in position to greatness, to great power and wealth. And he does it in part in respect for his father. But that lunar eclipse moon and South Node in the 4th house makes him very emotional in the fiery sign of Sagittarius, where of course his emotions become outbursts. Sagittarius, if you know Sagittarius, they just have these outbursts where they're going to tell you what they really think. And we see that with Donald Trump. He can't control what he says, like a classic fiery Sagittarius. And for him, it's his emotions coming right to the surface. And he may just have some deep mother wounds here. And his relationship with women may just become his demise that affects his election year ultimately this year. And we're going to tell you more about that later when we cover Chiron in Aries, crossing over his 8th house. And his North Node will definitely be activated by a Sun conjunction in 2024, lighting up, and Jupiter, his North Node will be activated by a Jupiter North Node conjunction in 2024, lighting up his purpose in life. And once again, just giving him that uncanny luck that Donald Trump is known for. He's really connected to some wealthy, powerful people that are really going to try to help him win against all odds in 2024. So we'll see how that works out. And it's interesting to me that Trump's Gemini Sagittarius axis was activated during that powerful eclipse portal we had in 2020. Remember 2020? That was a crazy year. When we had the 2020 elections, there was a Gemini Sagittarius lunar and solar eclipses that triggered Donald Trump's North Node, South Node. That total lunar eclipse return for Trump happened on June 5th in Sagittarius at 15 degrees, just within 5 degrees of his Sagittarius. And that activated his nodal axis, his 10th house Father, Gemini, and his 4th house Sagittarius mother. We just see his 10th house and 4th house work-life balance, family, home, work, career, power. All those issues were really lit up during 2020. And the sun lights up his North Node in Gemini. This could light up his soul's mission to win in 2024 and gain power by using his Gemini superpowers of manifesting with his words, his marketing, his promotion that he is good at. And it's making a solar opposition to that lunar eclipse in the 4th house, bringing up wounds of loss. And we will have some Chiron wounded healer transits coming up that show Trump will have a lot to heal in 2024 all the way through 2026, when Chiron is going to be really bringing up some emotional healing that needs to occur. How will he have time to process everything that is happening to his health and well-being? It's going to be an intense year of these highs and lows, the feather on the scale, highs and lows. I don't know. Let's start with the highs, though. The highs are Jupiter, the planet of expansion, the believe it to achieve it, personal power guru. That is, Jupiter is in Trump's house, ninth house of beliefs, travel, and education in Taurus right now, before it moves on to Gemini in Trump's 10th house of career and power, coming in 2024 June. And next April 20th, 2024, Jupiter in Taurus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus. This will be affecting us all, but this gives Trump a really high spirit to ask, believe, and receive. Once again, Trump is going to have this incredible manifesting power to get all the support from people in high places that he needs to win. And the wealthy want Trump to win because he always helps them with taxes. And there's also somebody from a foreign land. Ninth house is about traveling and foreign people from foreign lands. So there's someone from foreign land who's helping Trump to win this election. That shows up again and again in his chart. I'll let you know as we go along. But he also has Jupiter conjunct midheaven. This one, gosh, so lucky. This reminds me of that old song, Some Guys Have All the Luck. Man, Trump has all the luck next spring, April 2024 through June 2024. Trump has this auspicious Jupiter conjunct midheaven that brings a lucky fortune cookie for his career and achieving his goals of gaining more power. He gets the results he wants, and we're already seeing this in the polls, right? He is top of the line for the polls. And this will be a time of confidence, recognition, achievement, and professional progress for Trump. If this is like running a marathon where you get that major lead from your competition and you are definitely feeling like no one can catch Trump now in the race, but it's only going to happen through June. So a lot can change between June through November. He's not going to be at the front of the race from June through November, just early on. Jupiter loves travel and making friends in high places, and Trump loves that too, and those foreign affairs. So my instinct is that there's just massive help here for Trump from someone in a position of power in a foreign country, and it's all very covert behind the scenes. We might not even hear about this on the news. And is it Putin? I don't know. Putin is in a 3 wood star. He is a 3 wood star going through his own personal hurricane in 2024. So I'm not sure Putin can help. He's going to have some drama of his own, but some powerful foreigner is funneling resources for Trump to win, and this foreigner is maybe tied to oil. I don't know. Very powerful. If he wins, I feel like it will be because of this covert foreign help that I don't know the details of. I'm just looking at the chart here. And when Jupiter conjuncts his midheaven, it's so exciting. It's so optimistic for Trump. It just lights him up like a radiant sun shining so brightly, and it's going to expand everything in a good way for Trump. And the advice I usually give in readings when I see Jupiter conjunct the midheaven is not to take on more than you can handle. When you have Jupiter conjunct your midheaven, it feels like you could do anything. You feel like superpowers and superhero. And even if it seems like all these great opportunities are coming, you should not overcommit. And I do think Trump is overcommitting, obviously trying to win this presidential election to become president is a bit of an overcommit for anyone. And Trump is going to have more than he can handle next spring as things really speed up for him, and he is in the spotlight in the news, and he will be seen for all of his good deeds and bad deeds alike. It can feel like it's all too much. Even though this is a positive Jupiter midheaven transit, there's an element of overwhelm that comes from opportunity overload that could exhaust Trump's health. So he really should be looking out for his health. He's like a kid who's eaten too much ice cream at the ice cream shop, and now he's getting a little sick because he just took on too much, had too much fun, had too much sugar. And then June 11th, we've got another Jupiter's lucky. Jupiter 11th, 2024, Jupiter enters Gemini. That's Trump's house of his sun, North Node, and Uranus. He has a stellium in Gemini, and Jupiter is coming. When Jupiter enters your sign of your sun, it's like the king enters the house of your natal sun, and that is the 10th house of career and positions of power. If you get an opportunity like this, you get to make a wish and ask the king for it to come. It's like the king is coming to your house personally. It's like rubbing the genie's lamp and being told your wish is my command from Jupiter, just one of the most powerful personal planets we have. I could practically declare that Trump is the winner from this powerful Gemini Jupiter, just for Jupiter entering Gemini and then transiting Jupiter in Gemini will conjunct Trump's natal Uranus at 7 degrees of Gemini. A second Jupiter conjunct Uranus for Trump, that showcases again foreign people of supreme power coming in to help him win, even if there's something so secretive, so deceitful here. I feel like it's like the Freemasons or the Illuminati or something. There's these higher powers backing Trump that we can't even fathom, but I'm sure it will all come out in a book in about 10 years. And then transiting Jupiter in Gemini conjuncts his North Node in October. Trump's big life lessons and purpose are lit up, but in a good way, at 20 degrees of Gemini. This is expansion of power. North Node, Jupiter conjunction. And then we can just about call that Jupiter Sun Cazimi in the 10th house of power for Donald Trump. This is truly the luckiest transit you can have. Jupiter Sun conjunction, known as a Cazimi. When I saw this Jupiter conjunct Sun in Gemini, I thought, oh, he's going to win for sure. But then I looked a little closer at the chart and I realized he misses a true Jupiter Sun Cazimi by 1 degree. It's so crazy. It's as if he loses by just 1 vote, by just 1 feather. Because when Trump is standing before Jupiter, the king, presenting his wish to become president, something really funny happens. Jupiter's coming in. Jupiter's conjunct his North Node at 20 degrees. Jupiter gets within 1 degree away from Trump's sun at Gemini, 22 degrees. Jupiter is just about to give Trump everything he wants. And then Jupiter stations retrograde at exactly 21 degrees of Gemini. 21 degrees, just 1 point away from the Sun conjunct Gemini at 22 degrees, which would have been a perfect Jupiter Sun Cazimi, so close. So now this race is really hard to call because that is the luckiest transit. And some may say that's close enough, but others will say Trump missed that Cazimi by a hair. Just depends how how accurate and how precise you like your astrology. But Jupiter will be retrograde during the time of the November election. So maybe the king won't give Trump his power. And maybe Jupiter in Gemini retrograde means the king disempowered, going backwards. We will have Mercury, Jupiter, Uranus, Venus, and Chiron, the wounded warrior healer, all retrograde during the election day. What could go wrong with our voting during this election? We always seem to be voting in the fall during the prime retrograde season. And Jupiter will not go direct until January 2025, when whatever president wins takes office. So the king will not be granting wishes to Gemini after all, when Trump needs Jupiter the most. It's like Trump was so close to getting everything he wants, but then the king just backs out on the deal. But only by that 1 degree, too close to call it. We're going to need a referee on the court for this one. And we have that powerful North Node Aries, South Node Libra eclipses happening for all of 2024. And the first one is a lunar eclipse in Libra on March 25th. Libra, the scales of justice, when Trump is having that lawsuit pending. And then there's a total solar eclipse in Aries on April 8th. And I'm watching these eclipses closely to see how it's going to affect our presidential elections and the current war situation. And you can learn more about this Aries, North Node, Libra, South Node eclipse portal. I have some videos I'll link down below, because it's going to be affecting us all of 2024, and I have separate videos. And these 2024 eclipses will hit Trump's third house of Libra, having to do with the legal system, lawsuits, as Libra is those scales of justice, and Trump's Aries in the 8th house that is ruled by Scorpio, dealing with sex, death, and taxes. And he may have some tax debts to pay, or some other debts, some kind of debt to pay. But he also may have some skeletons coming out of his closet, as Jupiter will expand any secrets to be revealed. And Trump's Uranus square Saturn means they will be shocking secrets, because Uranus is shocking and Saturn is karma. What could shock us with Trump at this point? It will all probably come out in his lawsuits that are scheduled for the next spring, when the eclipse portal is really happening, and he may feel like he's not getting the respect, recognition, or rewards that he deserves, or that his power and influence cannot save him this time. And his powerful Jupiter, all these Jupiter transits can really expand your ego. It can make you overconfident. Imagine Trump being overconfident. He might come across as arrogant and boastful, both in the elections and his lawsuits, and this will not serve him. And it could result in some kind of reversal of fortunes once Jupiter moves away from his midheaven around June 2024. There will be a huge shift in fate for Trump, where all these Jupiter transits were bringing him all this luck, and then mid-June it shifts more into this Saturn-Uranus square, which brings conflicts. And we can't talk about Trump's future without talking about Uranus. I just like to say it that way. Uranus will be entering Gemini in July 2025, bringing even more unexpected, shocking events for Trump, as this marks a Uranus return for Trump, who has Uranus in Gemini. But plot twist, it's also a Uranus return for the United States of America, because if you look at our 1776 American birth chart, when the American Revolutionary War birthed America as a free nation, Uranus was in Gemini during our Declaration of Independence. That is the birth chart of America. And then we had another raucous Uranus return in Gemini that brought unrest, war, and revolution. And that was the Civil War in 1862. So I could do 6 hours on Uranus and Gemini alone. But what is important now for just Trump becoming president is that Trump has Uranus in Gemini at 7 degrees. And Uranus, the planet of unexpected surprises in the sign of Gemini, who likes to talk, can really translate as, I can't believe he just said that. So Trump is always surprising us because he is this innovative change maker, and he goes against the old ways of doing things. He can break the rules, he breaks the laws, and he has gotten away with a lot of things because everyone lets him. But this may be the time when Uranus returns in 2025, and America is also having this Uranus return. This is going to create some kind of shocking event, especially when Trump gets closer to his 84th birthday. That will be when Uranus and Gemini is exact. But he's going to have these massive waves of change in his 10th house of career, power, and authority that makes it so hard to predict what will happen for him, because whenever I'm looking for a definitive answer in an astrology chart reading and there's a lot of Uranus involved, I'm just scratching my head because there's no way to know what's going to happen with Uranus. It's always unpredictable, especially in the unpredictable sign of Gemini. But I just had to look quickly at the Sabian symbol for Trump's Uranus at 7 degrees, which is a late degree. So I'm actually going to read Gemini 8 degrees. And this is interesting. The Sabian symbol, aroused strikers surround a factory. The disruptive power of the ambitious mind upon the organic wholeness of human relationships. Here we are dealing with man's discovery of new powers residing in his special contribution to the total organism of the planet Earth, and his consciousness and aggressive mind. And this stage deals with oil as a form of energy that the mind has made available to mankind. And now we see in this new symbol an indication of what the use of this intellect-generated energy inevitably leads to: industrial unrest and violence. As man manages to rape the earth in order to demonstrate power and intensify his pleasures and his sense of proud mastery, conflicts and a disruptive process are inevitably initiated. And it's presented to us here in its collective social form because we have reached an emotional cultural level, and the type of power generated by the analytical intellectual faculties is disruptive now. It is based on destruction of matter and invites egocentric hoarding and privileges of one over another, and this will lead to a revolt against privilege. And that is really interesting. It's like a revolution and striking of the workers, but it also represents there is a war to come involving oil and energy, but it's also a workers' revolution. And could this have something to do with those looming solar storms threatening our power grid in 2025? And Uranus will be conjunct Trump's midheaven and 10th house of career, sextile Venus before Trump's Uranus return. And Uranus will bring significant changes for Trump that may disrupt his career and his public profile, and it could end his goals and it just might shift his whole path forward into a new direction. And could this actually be coming from the lawsuits or restrictions or even jail? There are sweeping changes to come to his work, home, and family life, all that 10th, 4th house stuff. And he will have to adapt to situations that are going to be rocking his world in the next few years. And he may even have to dismantle the Trump Tower. And I just picture the Tower card in the tarot where everything is kind of crumbling down around him. But it's rebirthing a new way forward for Trump. It could all come crumbling down, but he is such a survivor. He will either ignore or resist any unpleasant, unwanted, or shocking changes or bad news. He's really good at stuffing his problems. But this might make things worse for Trump's health, leading to all kinds of negative health problems like insomnia, anxiety, depression, or heavy drinking or addictions that could ultimately unravel his health and well-being in ways we haven't seen for Trump. This transit shows turbulence with emotional distress, misguided loyalties, unrequited love, and fears of severe financial hardship, lack of security, stability, even pressure from scared family members that can all make him feel this heavy burden that will only be made worse by Saturn square Uranus, happening from April 2024 through February 2025. This is a heavy square that brings restrictions, regulations, and that diamond making pressure that will come from obstacles, challenges, roadblocks, and karmic soul lessons. Ouch. Could this limit his ability to even run for this presidential election, perhaps because of all the lawsuits? And these squares, so many of the fixed signs in Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, we were dealing with this exact same Saturn square Uranus between 2020 and 2022, I believe. This Saturn square Uranus brings changes you don't want to happen, that are just forced upon you against your will. And it can be a frustrating time of rising tension and stress. And with Uranus involved, once again, it's hard to predict what the heck is going to happen now, but it will probably be shocking, and it will probably lead to unrest in our country, which is unfortunate. And Trump will be forced to adapt to these changing circumstances occurring out of control in his house of Pisces, 7th house Pisces, where Saturn will be. And that's relationships and partnerships. And his late degree of Taurus moving into that 10th house of career, how his relationship and his career is working. And plot twist, again, could it be Melania now coming in with relationship turbulence to affect his career? Or is it other business partnerships? Is it his partnership with his family within his business? Someone is going to block Trump's progress in a really big way with this Saturn square Uranus. Like I said, this is the Grinch who stole Christmas for Trump. And there's so many transits that I still want to unpack that I just didn't get time for. I know this video is getting really long, but just really quickly. Trump also has Venus, Saturn conjunction happening in Trump's 7th house of relationship. Venus is love and the heart, and Saturn is those hard knock lessons, those karmic lessons. Ooh, something is unraveling here in Trump's love life. while he has all this other stuff going on, lawsuits and presidential election. But isn't that just like life? Then you're in the middle of trying to improve your career, and now your love life has fallen apart. And Trump's Chiron in Libra, that wounded warrior healer planet Chiron, who always demands that we heal ourselves, even if it's not convenient, will be opposite Venus in that 7th house of relationships at the same time. So now Trump is feeling really insecure in his love life. And there could be heartache, heartbreak, breakup, so much heart, love, healing to do for Trump's relationships, partnerships, and family. And maybe there's going to be more scandals that come out, and Melania is just not having it this time around. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but relationships are going to become a focus for Trump in 2024 because all of his relationships and business partnerships and his family relations are rocky in 2024. And that's rocking his world because family and love and relationships is really important to Trump, actually. And then we have Chiron, that wounded warrior healer planet, squaring Saturn, May 2024 through April 2026. This is a long transit that's going to bring obstacles, challenges, and lessons, karmic lessons that lead to healing Trump's old wounds and old past traumas, probably the past traumas from his family of origin. And there's going to be some kind of painful loss here. When we have Chiron square Saturn, there's a painful loss that ultimately will lead to a higher purpose. And resolution for Trump will come through a major healing crisis. So Trump should really take care of his health in 2024. Health is going to come to the surface, and he could suffer a heart attack with all these health-related squares and transits and Venus hitting his heart and Chiron saying, you need to heal this. And then Chiron sextile Sun. This is a more positive Chiron aspect that shows an opportunity to heal at a deep level after a health scare of some kind. So we'll be looking out for that. And in the 9-star key, Trump is a 9 fire star. And this is ruled by the heart. So my prediction is something could happen to his heart. And his heart is so big. He is ultimately a promoter and a marketer. And this is honestly, just on a business aspect, being even a small business owner, I can see that this is where Democrats fail in politics. They don't advertise, they don't promote, they don't market themselves well, with the exception of, I thought Obama did a great way of marketing himself with the Yes We Can. That was awesome. But for the most part, Democrats fail at marketing, even on the small levels with like governors and senators locally. I just don't see Democrats putting in the effort to advertise, market, and promote. But when Trump, being a 9 fire star, he is a mastermind of marketing and promotion and fame. Fire star is the star of fame, and he does have that fame. And this is why Republicans win, because they get the fame. And I mean, when you can use a mugshot to make millions fundraising, then you're a promoter extraordinaire. I don't care if you like Trump or not. He's really good at marketing. So how will he promote his campaign in 2024? Because in the 9-star key astrology, he will be going into the 2 Earth cycle, as he just started a whole brand new 9-year cycle in 2023. 2023, he was just that seed of potential, like the acorn underground that may become the mighty oak tree. And in 2024, he becomes the sprout. He begins to grow forth. But it's a lot of pushing upward heavy lifting. He has his work cut out for him in 2024. Lots of work, lots of getting around obstacles and roadblocks, just like that Saturn square Uranus is saying. But his fire element feeds Earth, so he will have a productive, good cycle for him in the 9-star key. Although 2 Earth star was the star that Hillary was in when she lost in 2016. And Biden will be in a very lucky 6 metal star, which is all about harvest and reaping the reward. So he's got a winning star himself in the 9-star key, where good things come to Biden after his 2023 hurricane that he experienced. But Venus is coming in so strong during this election, and I'm going to unpack that in later transits, because we have Venus rising as evening star with all these goddess planets, bringing in this divine feminine energy rising on our planet through all of 2024, so strong that my prediction is that a woman will actually surprise, plot twist, Uranus, shocking surprise, a woman will win the election. That's just my intuitive hit with just a little bit of astrology to back it. And that's where I'm placing my bet. But I'm not sure at this moment which woman it will be. And I'm going to delve into that. I think I'm going to do astrology transit charts for Kamala Harris, for Nikki Haley. Heck, I may even look at Marianne Williamson. If there is a candidate that you want me to look at their astrology chart and see if they could possibly be, especially if it's a woman, but anybody you want me to read as a candidate for the 2024 presidential election, leave it in the comments and I will consider reading it. It is so fun to look at these charts and just see what the stars are saying. And I'm sure I'll do Biden's chart at some point. Fellow Scorpio Biden, he's a 4 wood star, and I can relate to him, but for some reason, I just kind of want to wait for Biden. Am I the only one who feels like Biden isn't really going to run in 2024 after all? I don't know. I just don't feel his campaign getting momentum yet. But when it picks up momentum, I will probably read Biden, and we will look to the stars for answers day by day, and I'll walk you through it as we go. Thank you so much for watching.